Good afternoon, everybody. It is Monday, right around the noon hour, and that means that we are here with our Spotlight on Business video series. Today, we're going to bring you a fairly new business, although the store itself has been around Pagosa for a while, but we are celebrating our new business owners, which is one of the things that we try and bring forth in this video series. And that is our veteran businesses as well as our newer businesses here in Pagosa Springs. You'll hopefully get some interesting stories and maybe as a business owner, even garner some tips. So we are here in historic downtown Pagosa Springs in the 400 block of Pagosa Street or Highway 160. And we are here at Footprints and we are with our owners, Dallas and Kay Weaver. And so we're going to join them today. As you can see behind me, there are lots of shoes, but they've got a lot more than just shoes. So let's see. Here I have hats. I've got more shoes, women's shoes, and the owners of Footprints, Dallas and Kay Weaver. Welcome. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Mary.
Great. So how long have you owned Footprints?
We're in our 4th year right now.
Okay. And what possessed you to open a shoe store here in Pagosa Springs? Or actually, you took over this shoe store. So tell us a little bit about how you got to Pagosa and how you happened to open up Footprints.
Well, you were a key pivotal role in that, Mary Jo. As you can remember, maybe a few years back, I used to call you about every other month, asking for businesses that were available here in Pagosa Springs. Kay and I lived in Parker, Colorado, and we had some land down here and been wanting to move here for quite a while. But we wanted to be invested in the community and find a business to be in. Kay at the time was doing a nonprofit, and I was working at a gym, but we wanted to be involved in a business that had been substantiated here in Pagosa Springs. And finally, after me pestering you for probably about a year.
I think it was, Dallas.
Yeah,
I think it was about a year.
I called very frequently. And one day you said, I said, Mary Jo, anything on the horizon? You said, you know what? I hear that there's a shoe store in town that's going to be for sale. And you actually said, well, what do you know about shoes, Dallas? And I said, well, Kay and I wear them every day. We love wearing shoes. And we're big hikers in outdoor apparel. So you gave me Karen's number and said, call Karen and tell her that you gave her number out. And so I gave her a call and I said, Karen, you don't know me, but Mary Jo gave your number and we're interested in the store. And that started right there. And but that happened also to be at the time during COVID, believe it or not. So it was quite a journey to get here. We met with Bruce and Karen at a distance in a conference room with masks on. And it probably wasn't the best time to necessarily be looking at a business, but we felt really called toward it. And we said, well, if it was meant to be, it would be meant to be. And very interesting, kind of a scary and funny story about that, how that all happened is that they had a price for the store and it had been established for about 3 years here downtown Pagosa Springs. And we just didn't have a lot of resources and money at the time. So we tried offering them a counter offer and they rejected it. And then we didn't hear from them for a month or two. We felt it was off the table. And then they called back and said, we're going to give you another offer and we'd like to sell the store to you. Here's the price, our final price. And so we looked at doing a small business loan, looked at everything. But Kay said, you know, if this was meant to be for us to be in Pagosa Springs, we're going to liquidate everything we have. And so we cashed in everything, didn't we?
We did.
Our retirement funds, sold your townhouse.
Your motorcycle?
Oh, we had to sell my Harley Davidson.
That was a sad day.
That was a sad day. We sold everything, put it on a piece of paper and wrote down what our assets were. And believe it or not, after liquidating everything, it matched the exact number they were asking for the store. So with a leap of faith and not a dollar in our pocket, we gave Bruce and Karen every penny we had. And when did we open up, honey?
January 1st, 2021.
All right.
With only the money in the cash
Only
register.
cash, sure.
No
That's
money
all
for rent, no money for the store.
And here you are going into 4 years later and also being Pagosa Small Business of the Year last year. Congratulations on that honor as well. And you mentioned um, becoming invested in the community. And that is certainly one of the aspects of being Small Business of the Year. Can you talk a little bit about that aspect as well as how do you integrate yourselves and your business into the community?
We look for ways. We look for ways that we can help. One thing we did last year is we started a scholarship for local high school students. So that was fun to get. We gave away 2 scholarships.
That's great.
This year, and so that was fun. And being on Main Street too, we get a lot of foot traffic, and so a lot of other businesses that are fundraising come in and ask for help, and we really try to say yes as often as we can. We'd love to help. How can we help? What can we do? Whether we donate inventory or a gift certificate for someone to come back and shop, and we love being in this town. We launched the Parade of Downtown Businesses. This is our 3rd year doing that. So we collaborated with business owners here in the 400 block and also on Lewis Street. And we have a fun night for the Chamber Business Happy Hour. So this year there's 15 businesses participating in that event. And it's just a great town community event to come down, mingle with your neighbors and friends and tourists, and you have an opportunity to win prizes, but also just an opportunity to get together and walk around and shop local businesses downtown.
Yeah. Well, and certainly I think it also takes time. Dallas, you are in your 3rd year on the chamber board, but you also sit on other organizations.
Yeah, I'm sitting on the tourism board also, and we're involved in our church from VBS and other activities, and in our HOA, and trying to just say yes too often. You know how that is, Mary Jo.
Yeah, I am still trying to learn that word NO. So
we just say yes a lot because we embrace and we love Pagosa. We love it, and we love it when tourists are here and it's their first time to visit Pagosa Springs. We're excited for them. It's just exciting. It's exciting we want to get all the business involved together to be excited for everyone here and the pulse of this town, and see it prosper, and everyone enjoy the beauty that's around us. And we're lucky to be right here and able to sell retail goods that can help people have a great experience here in Pagosa Springs.
So let's shift gears just for a minute and talk about the business aspect of a business here and being owners. Prior to owning the shoe store, did you have experience? I know you mentioned earlier, not in the shoe industry, but in business in general, that gave you the confidence to open up a shoe store here. Uh-oh.
We both do have business degrees, so that was our college degree, but neither one of us had owned a business prior to this. I worked in a nonprofit. Dallas was a trainer at a boot camp gym, and you had experience with Harley Davidson years ago selling motorcycles, but never really. No, this was our first really leap of faith of we can do it.
So do you have maybe a couple of points you'd like to highlight since you are a new business? Some things that were good, and maybe we've asked this in the past, something that you did that you were like, oof, wish we wouldn't have done that. But you talked about your leap of faith and, nothing but the money in the cash register. And now here you are 4 years later. So you must have done a number of things right. Can you talk about some of the things you feel you did right?
Sure. We learned a lot from the previous business owners. So when we did buy the business, they offered to let us, work here and shadow them. And so we really took that opportunity, and we were here for 6 weeks at just learning the business and how to order and accounting and billing and inventory, everything. So I think just that nosedive of not coming in blind, but really researching and learning, I think that was a great launching point for us.
Very helpful. Yeah, we worked side by side with them with no pay.
We weren't
But
employees.
we weren't employees, but we did 6 weeks, and what we learned a lot because right as we took over on January 1st, COVID had hit so much that we didn't realize the inventory was low, very low. In fact, so Kay looked in the store our first day and said, it's officially our store. And she looked around, and after about 15 minutes, she came out to me. She goes, "There's not a shoe in here that fits me. We are completely out of stock." And we couldn't order shoes. The warehouses were empty, and it was a little scary. So it was going online shopping for shoes and putting them in the cart immediately, regardless of the color.
So while that was hard, that was really hard, but also it kept us from over ordering. So we didn't get into a hole of we can't afford this, so it was a slow start. We didn't have large bills at that time as far as inventory because we couldn't order that much.
There wasn't much out there. Had a shoe store and couldn't get shoes.
Right.
but we made it.
We did.
People would come in. I had a lady size 9, so I was like, "Oh, please let her be a size 9 so we can sell her shoes."
So any other things that you think you might have done well?
We learned from that. Kay has been amazing. She's done all the ordering, and from that experience of almost starvation of having to really be wise at it, that helped you in the prosperous times. And now she does. We have quadrupled our inventory because of Kay.
We have, thank you. But we're also focused on what's good for this area, not only for, I would say locals and tourists alike. So we're focused on outdoor activity, people coming here wanting to get outside, getting on the trails, getting in the river. And so we want the inventory that we sell to really speak to the people that come here and the people that live here. And so we just want to offer something that people need when they come here, and also things that they would like to have.
Well, certainly you have a local base, but in some of our former spotlights, we've talked about the seasonality of Pagosa Springs. And certainly I think that affects you as well. Can you comment on that and how, as a business owner, what are maybe some words of wisdom that you would give another business owner in a retail store about the seasonality of Pagosa Springs? How do you plan for it? How do you deal with it when it's here? We know those seasons, April, November, but tell us a little bit about how you have learned to work through the seasonality of Pagosa Springs.
I would say we definitely look at the business as a whole year. So not day to day of, wow, we only sold this much today, or, you really have to look at it as a whole. And so after having a few years of experience and knowing how we just explode in summer with tourism, which really keeps us alive, we know that those months will help float our thinner months. So just resting in that fact of not getting very anxious, when those slower months come, just knowing, that, Pagosa is such a great town. We always have the hot springs that will attract tourists. The Wolf Creek ski area will attract tourists, and then certainly all of our summer activities. So we try to rest in the slower times. We try to catch up on paperwork, and other things. What would you say in addition to that?
We try to stay diligent also in knowing that the thinner times there, but we do have some employees that we know that, and theoretically during the thinner times you would lay off an employee, but we don't. We want to make sure that there's sustainability and that our employees are rest assured just because we're slow, you're not going to be let go. And because we know, and so as cases we look at it the whole, so we kind of set forth that from the prosperous times, knowing there'll be the times as is Pagosa. We're very seasonal here. So this room right here it could look like this, or there could be 25 people standing right here, all holding a shoe up, wanting to have a shoe tried on.
Sure.
And so you take it as a whole, and Pagosa will always be a great tourist destination. And so and embrace everyone who comes here, and embrace the locals who we try to provide for the locals stuff that's durability and longevity, and we can warranty back for them also. So we have a lot of repeat customers just for that, because they know
So I think in your Small Business of the Year nomination form, you said that you have returned, you sell darn tough socks.
Mhm.
How many darn tough socks have you returned?
Last year, we are a warranty dealer for Darn Tough Socks. Darn Tough Socks are a lifetime warranty sock made out of Vermont for 3 generations, and they're guaranteed for life. So last year we took in over 98 pairs of socks for a new pair. Just exchange. You come in with their socks, preferably not pulling it off their foot when they're there, because I have to go through them to verify the hole. But and this year already, we are well ahead of the game. I've already submitted. In fact, I just submitted one yesterday. It was 8 years old. The sock was for a warranty replacement. So we're probably going to easily break 100 replacement socks. And we're also a warranty dealer for all of our shoes. Keen, Morel, and Solomons and Salewas are all warranted. And we do the exchange right here. We rest assure the locals that if you buy it and if there's a defect, you walk into the store, we replace it for new. I do all the warranty work for them. They don't have to worry about that. So.
That's great. Well, what great stories. And as we're trying to talk to people, our businesses, whether you're a veteran or a new business, you have different experiences at this point in time in your careers. So thank you for giving us your perspective on owning a newer business. Anything you'd like to say or any funny story you'd like to mention before we call this show a wrap?
There's been some funny ones. I can't share those all, but you see everyone come through that door, and from all across the world. And so it's amazing, everyone you can meet here. Absolutely, from Europe to California, Florida. I mean, it's just wonderful to everybody we meet. Every day is an enjoyable day with the folks we meet here.
Well, that's great. We appreciate it. So thank you all so much for joining us. And we really love your shoe store. We love the fact that you have locals as well as visitors in your market. And thank you for everything you're doing for the community and your participation.
Thank you, Mary Jo.
All right, folks. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to pan around the store just a little bit. There's some shoes, men's shoes, back in the corner, women's shoes. Thank you all for joining us. Join us every week for our Spotlight on Business video series. And I'm Mary Jo Coulehan, Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
We did it. Wow.
Good job.
Oh. I hope we did it.